Hello, so I'm Faizan, and today I'm going to talk about a book called No Turning Back by Tracy Buchanan. So I don't know how to pronounce the last name of the author. It is Buchann. So it could be Buchanan or Buchanan or Buchanan or anything. The title of the book is No Turning Back. So I first thing first is the cover. So I picked this book because the cover was all in small letter. So it is, I mean, it is not usual or typical. You see the title of the book is written in the uh, short letters. So I was like, okay. And the other is the another description was how far would you go to save your child, and there's a woman on the cover. So see, I have read books where woman as a mother plays a critical role. So those books there are many books I have read. So I don't recall the name, but the premise is the woman or mothers too much, doing too much to save their kids, and it is a very sensitive topics. So I was like, okay, I want to read more of it, so because I like reading about it. And another part was the cover. See, I read a book like Oyster Catchers. Was it Oyster Catcher or something? Okay. And the book was about uh, about two sisters and their relationship, how it went in the uh, so I was like, maybe this is something like that because the cover resembled it. And the fourth thing, I picked this book because the title of the book has been written in bigger fonts than the writer name. And when this happened, it means the writer or the marketing team is trying to sell the cover, not the sell the book or copy. And not is the mic working? Okay. Not the writer. See, when the writer becomes famous, what marketing team does is put the writer's name like big on the cover, and the title of the book uh, goes in a smaller fonts. I have many books like that, like Mo Heather. It is a third, fourth book of the writer, and it is very popular writer. So they put the name of the writer first, and then the title of the book, which is the treatment. And the first one is the Jack Caffrey thrillers on the top, because they have to tell that this is from this series and from this writer. Basically, they are selling the uh, history of the writer, not the present. They are trying to cash in the popularity, and so this book is not doing that. And it turns out that it is a very, I mean, I would like not say to say good, but it is readable, all in readable and interesting topic, I guess. See, the story is is again on the about the mother. It is already established from the blurb and the cover and the description that it is about mother. So but what I was not expecting, that there will be like three generation of mother doing what they think best for their girls. First is grandmother, then the mother, and then the mother, and then there is a daughter. So it's like three generation by protecting their kids. And uh, the protective nature of mother is much bigger than the protective nature of father. Father typically Father figures, I mean, typically does not that involved in protecting their kids. They are more like training their kids to protect themselves. But mother on the different side, they are not about protecting. They are like they will fight on behalf of their kids. They may not train the kids to fight their own battles. So that's why we see that the kid. I mean, I don't have a research, just observation that the kids who is raised by the mothers and are usually soft spoken and kind, and all those of type of nature wise they are better, but when it comes to the fighting traits, they are weaker than the kids who are brought up by the uh, father. Father usually teach about the morals and ethics and survival skills. But the mother are always so protective and always saving the kids from any problems and difficulties of life. So they kind of shelter them. They stop the growth of the kids, and that is exactly what happened in the book. In No Turning Back, there is a very popular. Let me talk about a story first. So there is a very popular show radio show runner or presenter or radio jockey, we can say. The woman is going to the park, and there comes a person, boy, and she think that the boy is trying to attack her kid. So she something happened, some accident happened, and the boy dies at the spot. So everyone think that now there are two faction here. Like some people think that the mother did the right thing, protecting her daughter. So it is, many mother think that is the right thing to do. If you are protecting your daughter, if you are protecting your son, you can kill. It is okay to kill. But then there is another faction who think that it is not right to say that my daughter's life is more important than yours, because at some point the person who is dead is also a son or daughter of someone else. So you kind of kill someone else's daughter and son, and their mother would have same feeling towards you or your daughter now. And there is one point of the book, one ethical prospect of the book, where this type of subject is divided between two different parties, and you have to pick a side, like whether the writer did the right, whether the protagonist did the right thing, or it was wrong thing to do. And another thing that is get up again and again in the book is the a class division. See, sometimes what happen is the thing when a upper class person does, and the thing that the lower class person does, and if those both crimes are same, then the even the both the crimes are same. So you might you kind of support the upper class, because you think that if the upper class person has done it, there must be a very good reason. And you kind of think that if the lower class has done it, they does it every day, so they might be like doing it habit wise. So that is another thing, because the person who attacked the mother was or the from the slum area, we can say. So this is another topic that is has been discussed in the book again and again, that is it the support the mother is having is because she belongs to a rich class. So she kind of having all this support because the rich class is protecting themselves. They won't also want to do the same thing if the lower class or poor people do try to do the same thing to them. They will also like to kill the poor people. And as we go through the book, this thing, the other thing I said, just become more prominent. And as we know, each generation tries to be less racist from the last generation, because of the mixing, we can say. And it is the only solution we know. If you want racism or casteism out of your community, you have to do the interchange marriage. That is the only way. That is the best way, I guess, or the only way, I guess. So, and that thing happens, and the people are. So sorry for the pause. Someone was on the door. Uh, so, and that is the another thing book. See, the eldest generation is always, you will find that more casteist and racist and more 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 traditional, we can say, because they have seen and experienced the true power of their of their state. They have seen their parents uh, uh, doing the horrible stuff to the lower class of people, so they kind of know that what kind of life they could have if all these intermix and all this kind of liberalization and the non-racism activism has not been happened, so they know, while the new generation know that what is happening is these lower class people is also better friends because they have tried it. Because and another thing is the social media and internet and technology has also played a part. Now we know the other people, we are not living in a bubble of our families or communities. We get to interact with the people from the outside of our circle very easily, so that is another thing that fast forward the anti-racism. But in the book, I have to talk about this because this thing plays a very major role in the book. And the third thing that is you have to know that some people likes to do crime, because in the book the criminal was enjoying the murders, and it started, as again I said, that our elder has enjoyed or experienced the thrill of oppression, so they kind of want that for themselves too. I mean, some of them do. Us 1 minute. Okay, sorry again for the interruption. uh, they kind of want, I was around talking about the how the elder generation want to explain the stuff their elders has done. So they now, but they cannot do it freely as their elders has done. They cannot go and make racist remarks or do things, no, because those things that were illegal then in their childhood are now illegal. They might go to jail or suffer the consequences because how the world has been turned. That's why the criminal, I mean, what is a crime? uh, in terms, a crime is anything is a crime which is is prohibited by a majority, or we can say prohibited or stopped or marked as a wrong thing by a committee selected by the majority. Hmm. That is a crime. And crime or rules and regulation does not means they are morally or ethically correct. They are just what the majority has been you know came to the singular uh, conclusion. It might be completely wrong, maybe the majority was biased or anything. So uh, if you have to understand it by a way like for example, there is a planet called Pluto. So it was a part of the solar system, and then NASA came up with the new terms and condition and the guidelines and criteria, and now it is not our part of our solar system. But the thing we did, making it a part of solar system or then removing it does not affect the Pluto in any way. It will be same it is. So the action of the pupil or their exercises or thing they do will be same. It will be, if it is wrong, it will be wrong. It does not mean if the government say it is right or the government say it is, like for example, government comes up with a rule like a person has to be 15 years old to get married. Now 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 uh, getting married to a 16-year-old is legal, or you can say right. But then after some years, The government came and said no, 15 is too young. We have to increase the number. So they say now 17-year-old is a new legal age. Now this is the legal age. It is not the correct or incorrect age. Up, so this thing is many people do not easily understand. They think if it is a legal, then it is a right. But legal does not have to be anything with the right or wrong. It is just that the what a majority is thinking or agreeing on. So in the book the same thing is kind of happen. uh, there are many people who have changed the laws from that time, and there are many people who still think the laws are wrong, and what they were doing was right. So but they now have to do those things under the laws, so they become criminal. They I mean, a person marrying a 15 years old was not a criminal 2 years ago, but now he is a criminal due to the new law. So how does this, you know an innocent person could become a criminal like that if the law change? But then again, when so many people makes a law, it usually is right, because I mean, so many people are agreeing on. But then lots of things are in the play. We cannot say anything. Uh-huh. But in the book, our murderer, or we can say criminal, was thinking they were right when they did it, and then they start doing it regularly because they feel like doing it, because they enjoyed it, and that was happening and happening and happening. And this is what happened in the book. Everyone think that the girl has killed the boy to protect her daughter, but it turns out it was an entirely different case. Someone has already drugged the boy, and the boy was running from some place else. I mean, the boy was already dying, already drugged. The girl did nothing basically. He slipped and died. And the book went on, and you find there are serial killers in the market, and who are killing the boys from certain communities for a long time, and due to their biasness or something. And in later you find out it's not the biasness. The first murder is happened because of their biasness, but then they started enjoying it, so they are doing it just for the thrill. And this is the book. And about the writing, I enjoyed the writing. It was kind of, I mean, there are some characters that could have been better. Like I don't understand what was the broader on. He was so mean, rude to his sister for no reason, I find. And mother was, again, we can understand the mother, because mother knew who was the murderer, and she was hiding all these things for a long time, and she was depressed. And then again, the third mother was very very, again, we can say independent and very stiff. I don't have the word to describe, actually. So she is kind of very, mm, she like a woman you would not like in your life, because they are too, they are always fighting, they are always angry, they are always annoying you. So you don't want them in your life. So she is that type of protagonist in the book. And she kind of she does not even feel that much guilt when she killed the boy. So we kind of think maybe she have done to enjoy it, but that's another part of the story. That's again the conflict that we are learning in the book. So all in all, No Turning Back by Tracy Buchanan is a very descriptive note, I would say, but insightful book on this topic. If you want to read it, it is a fiction of course, and there might be some research you can find around the topic I have talked about. But I usually talk about from my observation after reading the books. I don't have any. Again, I don't even believe in the scientific case studies. It is just a rough word for saying that we have done some kind of survey by taking the most, by and the most easiest way to collect the data. And I mean, you cannot trust these surveys and research findings because the data collection methods are always not very right most of the time. It is as close as it could be, but it is right. If you have done any kind of study or case research, or if you have even studied the subject called a scientific study and data analysis, you will see. I mean, you just go on the internet and read how the case study happens, and you will see there are so many things to do, and there are so many places the researchers can go wrong, and there are so many places the data could be interpreted wrong or could be presented wrong or could picture a very different picture than it really is. So you do not have to trust the case studies always trust your observation in my terms. So do I suggest the book by not running back? Yeah, of course you could give it a read. It is a good book, sensible book, and of course interesting one. At you can complete it in a day or two. It is a fast pace, interesting character, and of course the thrill to find who did it. At the last page you find it, and there is all the class based racism and how whose side you pick in the mother versus criminals, and is it okay to kill another person to save yourself? Because then again, you should do it, but again, do you really think your life is worth more than the other person's life? But then there is a study for this too, that if the other person is not thinking his life is worth than mine, then why I would think? But then you have to read the book to find all the answers.